Welcome. In this video, we're going to take a look at price lists in our PrintVis Business Central system. A price list can be used on raw material, it can be used on products or product types, or you can set a price list for a customer if you have a specific type of product set up for that customer, such as business cards. You can set a specific price list for that business card to use for the customers every time. In this case, to view the price list, we click on our search button and search for price lists. In our menu that comes up, we select PrintVis Price List. This brings up a list of all of the available price lists in our system. It has a list of the code for that price list, a description. If it's tied to a specific vendor, the vendor number and vendor name will appear, as well as the cost center if it's assigned to a cost center. To view a price list for an item, you simply click on the price list code, and that price list appears. On the price list item card, we have the code, a description, the ability to set the vendor number, which will automatically populate the vendor name, the type, whether it is an external price list or an internal price list. This is important. If you have a setting set on your item card to transfer the cost or price, it will override the price list and use the cost or the price that is set on the item card. If this type is set to external. If this is set to internal, it will always use the price list. So you have to be careful when you're using price lists to make sure that you're set to the right type of price list. If we wanted to assign it to a cost center, we could select the cost center here. The calculation unit. This is how the item is sold. So if it's sold in the pieces, or in this case, this is paper stock, so it's sold by the pound. So this price list is 101 per 100 pounds. And then how that item is ordered as well. So if this is ordered in pieces or by poundage, you can set that. If we were setting this up for an hour or a time rate, we could change those calculation units to hours as well. In our price list entry, we have a very similar field to the one that we saw for our rate setup, where we can enter the quantity. So the quantity from, in this case, anything over 1 is going to charge $101 per 100 sheets based on our calculation unit above. And there's our price. So for 1 sheet, we're charging roughly $1.01. If there's an additional quantity cost, we can add that, as well as any surcharges or additional quantity prices. If we have this for a specific customer, if our customer has worked out from a paper vendor directly, we can assign a sell to number, so that if this sell to number is selected here, when this paper stock is chosen or anything using this price list is chosen, if the customer has that specific sell to number, it will apply that price rate only to that customer. We also have the ability to select a customer group. So we can group our customers together. So if we have 5 customers that have certain prices set up, we can specify that group. And as long as those customers are listed in that price group, they'll get the special pricing for this paper. Or a product group. If we charge a different price for paper for our business cards than we do a traditional flyer, we can set that based on the product group. Format code, price group, and time group, those are also just further ways that we can restrict who this price list is set for. We can, using the ordering quantity, we can choose to round it to the nearest full value. We can also specify that if it's a specific quantity. And we have the ability to set a minimum cost. So if it's $101 per sheet or per 100 pounds and anything over that, we can set our minimum cost at 101, meaning that no matter what, even if they're using 50 pounds out of the 100 pound price, it will charge that set rate. The minimum cost is handy to make sure that the cost of our paper is covered. Under dimensions, these are ways that the price list is set up to figure things out. Our quantity of dimensions here, we have 1, and then the unit is how that item is sold, or how that item is stored in inventory. We also have the ability, if we have extra dimensions, We can change that. We can also set a formula to specify how that dimension is reached. And the formulas are based on the available formulas or a formula that you create in the system. We can also set other dimensions such as the product group, price group, formats, or any other units. Enabling these will turn on that field for this price list. Under our preferences, we can specify whether it's the additional quantity or the entire price list, how the item is looked up, whether it goes line by line, meaning if it's 1 to 10, it will grab the price, and you do 9, it will grab that price in 9. If it's 11 through 20, it will grab the next one. If you set it to accumulated, it will actually grab the price, so it will add the price for items 1 through 10 to the price for items 11 through 20 together to get your accumulated price that way. We do have the ability to set a minimum cost and a minimum price as well, regardless of what the calculated lines are. So if you have a maximum price or a maximum cost set, that will default to that price if you go over it. So if our estimate calls for $230 worth of stock, but we have a maximum price or a maximum cost set of $150, it will max out at $150. And then we have the ability to view the info, when it was created, who it was created by, and when it was modified. To assign these price lists, you can assign it from the item card. We'll take a look at one on the item card. And it is here under the PrintVis pricing tab. You'll see there's the price list code. You do not have to have a price list set for each item. In that case, it will use the direct cost or the sell to price depending on which box you have checked, whether you are transferring the cost or the price. So the price lists are a handy tool to use. However, they're not required in our system. To create a new price list, we once again navigate to price list, and we simply click new. From there, we can copy if we wanted to copy an existing price list to a new one and make our changes, or we can hit new to create a new one. We enter in our code. And we can set up the rest of our fields. And that's all there is to setting up a price list. If you have any questions about price lists or how and when to use them, please reach out to your PrintVis partner.